Hey everybody, welcome to beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. You know, I used to live here. I lived here for quite a few years. I still have a clinic, and we still do non-surgical consultations here, Wolfe Non-Surgical consultations, and we have a whole fulfillment center that we use to fulfill everybody's needs when it comes to nutritional products right across Canada. And I'm here to make some changes to make it more efficient. But the reality is so I lived here for years and years, and as you can tell, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And understand something. For those of you around the world, just know this, that Kelowna, British Columbia is like the jewel of Canada, okay? And understand this, that it is under attack, okay? I mean, most days the chemtrails up here are blocking, okay? And the reality is this was one of the first 5G cities, and especially the downtown area here in Canada. Understand this, you don't have to pay a human being very much money to sell out their brothers and sisters. You know, remember this in the whole 3 years of the COVID? I'm just doing my job, you slob. Okay, and I'm not calling a person a slob, but think about it. I'm just doing my job. We will sell ourselves out. We will sell our brothers and sisters out. We'll sell our mother out for money because we have such poverty consciousness, okay, that it leads us to desperation. So the greatest pandemic that's really going on, okay, because we know that if you were to actually looked it up, I know this is going to be a real mind bender, but if you would have looked it up, the word virus, it's Greek actually for poison. And I don't know about you, but the last time I could see a poison jump 6 feet and attack anyone, seriously, okay, all right, it's so easy to tell fairy tales and fables to human beings because they're such human doings. And I'm not trying to put people down. These are just observations. Remember something. I'm on here to stir it up. Okay, I'm here to flip it upside down, to turn it all around, to twist it all up. Look if you're not challenging yourself every day, then guess what? Then you're not going to learn, you're going to burn. And understand this. Okay, let me tell you something. I got to tell you some stories. I am totally okay with people being grumpy. And I will tell you, whether you want to believe this or not, I travel the world. You know, I'm going to be in 5 different countries, okay, in 4 months. And I've traveled all over the United States. I've traveled all over Mexico. And I will tell you something, okay? I was originally from Canada. I won't be moving back to Canada. That will never happen. And I'm going to tell you something. Am I Canadian? No, I don't know what I am. Okay, I'm a spirit being. That's what I am. So it's not like I'm against Canada. But the reality is this. I got to tell you, I've been in a lot of places. To you, dear Canadians, I love you. But you know what? I think that Canadians take the grumpy award right now. They really do. And I see it every day. You know, I've traveled all over the place. I'm going to keep traveling because nobody's shutting me down. Nobody's shutting me up. That's never going to happen. And the reality is I'm not out telling people how to live. I'm telling them how I live. So please don't be offended by any which way that you live. But am I going to test your belief systems if you come on here? Well, I'm trying to test mine. My God, just so you know that if I wasn't a health practitioner, I'd be dead already. With a AAA personality like mine, either you're trying to do good for the world or you're trying to do bad for the world and yourself. And remember something, you're never going to give to the world what you're not. You're going to give to the world what you are. If I unconditionally love and care for myself, then I'm going to try to do that for the world, aren't I? No, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. Now, here's the deal. So yesterday, we fly into Calgary. So to take our last flight to come to Kelowna. Now remember something, this isn't about right or wrong, this is about getting along. What if you could travel through life and no matter if somebody had cramps or if they had a really bad day and somebody passed away in their family and they just were so depressed or somebody was so angry because things weren't going their way and they put that onto you and you never got personal about it, you just observed and you loved anyways. So I just want to tell you this story. So the reality is we come into Calgary and we come to where we're supposed to go to our gate to catch the plane to come here. Well, guess what? there are, you know, when you go to get your gate, there's always where we have the, for people that have some kind of disorder. Maybe they have a cane, they have a wheelchair, they have a walker, but they need, so we have where we have people who are disabled in some way, they have marked off that they can sit there. So we look around and there's nowhere that Lori and I can sit. There's 2 spots over here, so we go over and sit down. And yeah, of course, it's got the marker, you know, to do that. And there's a older gentleman and an older woman, but I doubt if they were older. They just look like they could be my grandparents, and they did. And I guarantee you they weren't older than me, but you know what? It's what you think, it's what you drink, and what you eat. That's how you treat yourself. So the reality is we go to sit down, and what do they look at me and go? He goes, "Do you see the sign right there?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're not crippled. You can't sit there." And I said, "But either are you." And they said, "Yes, but we're old." And I said, "Well, you're probably no older than me." And they go, "You have no right to sit there." And I said, "My gosh, you don't have a right to sit there. What about all the other people that are sitting here and they're taking, I don't even see anybody with a cane or a walker or a wheelchair, but there's no place else for anyone to sit. And if somebody comes over here, I'll give them my seat gladly." You know, because I'm not, look at, if somebody is having a bad day, they're going to look at, they can get someone to say, "Look what they did. See, I told you the world is full of pricks." Well, you're going to love this one. I said, "Listen, we're going to sit here, and if somebody else comes along, we will move." And I'm still saying that, but he could move too. And he, you know what he says? He looks at his wife and he goes, "Of all the places we could be in the airport, we get the one prick." And then they go and they grab their masks. And he grabs his mask, starts to put it on, and he looks at her and she goes, "Put your mask on now. We don't know what kind of virus that he has." So the whole time he's saying this out loud. And that's what people are going to do. People are actually, when they're having a bad day, when they're feeling desperate, they don't know it, but their subconscious is going to want to justify why they're in a miserable mood. And guess what? Your subconscious is always going to try to get someone to attack you, okay, so that you can prove that it's all justifiable why I feel so depressed, or I'm so angry at the world, or I'm angry at myself, or I hate things. Let me tell you something. When have you hated something and it just made it better? I hate the way my children act. I hate the way my husband acts. I hate the way the world's acting. I hate the way Justin Trudeau or Biden's acting. I hate. You know what? I don't hate anything. Okay? Welcome to a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure. I don't care what the world can take the biggest crap today. It can vomit all over itself, but I know the sun is shining, and I know that I was put down here to create, and I'm going to create. Now, understand something. I just looked at Lori, who was sitting to the left of me, and I just smiled at her, and I didn't say a word to her. I wasn't going to make one crack. I let him do whatever he needed to do. And then I just got up, and then I went onto the plane, and guess what? So anyways, we always sit together, Lori and I. We go on the plane, and guess what? I'm in the middle. There's 2 people on either side, and me and Lori are separated. She's over in the other row on the other side. And guess what? I've got his wife sitting beside me for the plane ride, and I've got him just sitting across the aisle. And I just... Listen to me. The world is always going to test you, but don't let it mess with you. You don't need approval to smile all the time. You know, there's a really beautiful master trainer that I just talked to, and her grandmother just passed on yesterday. And I know that her grandmother's beautiful. And we had a talk, and she says, "You know what? It's really great that I'm here right now, and I'm going to be giving this lecture tonight." And I said, "Yeah, it is, because you're focused on your dreams, and your grandmother would want you nothing else but to focus on your dreams. She wouldn't want you suffering for her. You know that, I said to her, she wanted to go to be with her husband, and you know what? Her spirit was just longing to go home." I didn't get into it in great detail, but the reality is this. Why do we believe that suffering is how we show our love? I am never going to suffer for anyone. Will I feel emotion? Will sometimes it feel like a knife is going into me? Yeah, but I'm not going to leave it in there and then just take it and dig it in deeper and then just go like this. Why is it that whoever suffers the most loves the most? Really? Well, then I'm going to lose at this game. But I'm going to win, because the reality is this. I talked to another lady today, and she's got all kinds of adhesions. She's got fibroids, and she's got cysts in her abdomen like crazy. And I told her, she goes, what am I going to do? You know what? I've been following you for a year, and you know what? Now I'm understanding, Dr. Wolfe, that I created all these tumors in my abdomen, all these adhesions. I created all these cysts are in here, and I just want to get rid of them right now. And I said, and she goes, but I realized that I did this on an emotional level, and I didn't get this. I've been following you for over a year, and now it's starting to sink in. And I said, she goes, I want to change. And I go, well, you can do my Braveheart online intelligent emotional course in my library. It's free. But the reality, I'll be honest with you, nobody's going to make it unless they do something like my boot camp whole life coach course. And that's the truth. And I said, and while you're at it, you should do the 3-day woman's pelvic course, because between those two courses, your life will change forever. I have a guarantee that by the 3rd day, I'll crack your coconut open and you'll drink the juice of self-love and self-care. And this isn't a marketing pitch, but you've got to go in there. Here's the deal. Desperation can save the nation, or it can put it into inflammation and mutation. Remember the last time that you were desperate and all of a sudden you couldn't take anymore? And understand this, why is it the only time that people change is when it's going to make them more money, okay? Or they think they're going to die, okay? They are emergency 911. I said to her, you know what? You're like everyone else. And when I talk to people, it's not you're like everyone else and me judging them. I said, you're like everyone else. You don't have the time, you don't have the money, and guess what? You will, honey. You will have the time and you will have the money. And it won't be now, but it'll be 12 months from now, because you're going to keep on doing what you're doing. And you know what? If this was a family member, you would be spending the money, spending the time. You would be there for them, because guess what? You've always been taught that how we experience love is what we do for others. No. You fill up your own heart, you shine that light, and the next thing is you find your passion and purpose, and then you give that to the world. You gift the world. That's how it works. You don't use people to go and fill up your heart. Well, if I do this, then they always give me a hug, they always give me a kiss, they think I'm valuable. Well, you need to have your own value. What's the value that you have for yourself? Not what the value is that anybody else has for you, because that's gonna change like the wind. Okay? Let me tell you another story. So I've got a master practitioner, and they own a Cellsonic, which is 25,000 volts, which is the highest vibrational machine you can use. So she's on all the nutraceuticals, okay? So what's happening now, okay, she's on all our nutraceuticals, and she's taken the whole life coach course. She's taken the Wolfe Non-Surgical course. I think she took the 3-day pelvic course too. And right now, she has diarrhea and she feels like vomiting, and she lost 5 pounds over the last week. And I said, it's not a physical thing. You got to look at it this way. The things that, okay, if you can't address it, you're going to suppress it. And if you do that, then you will have messages from your body, but you will think that those messages from your body, you might call them symptoms, you might call them a disease. You think it's bloody well normal because everybody's walking around with negative symptoms and everybody's walking around with disease. When I say everyone, you do know that 90 to over 90% of the population has an autoimmune disease, not 1, but 2, but 3. You do know that 50% of the population will experience anywhere from 2nd to 3rd degree to 4th degree inflammation, which they call cancer. You do know, okay, I hope you know, that 60% of the population will have heart disease. You do know right now that 85% of North America is pre-diabetic. You do know that United States and Canada are now the leading countries in life shortening. That's right. Right now it's determined that the average lifespan is around 76, and other parts of the world it's 82. So the reality is that You know, the most, how can I say it? The most civilized, so-called civilized modern countries are not so civilized, okay? Now, I told her husband, I said, look it, this is how good she is. She's so good at hiding things and suppressing things. She wants to grow, but she can't let go. So what we do is if you're really good at suppressing things, it's like quicksand. You go and you drop it on quicksand, then what it does, it sinks to the bottom. But how many people know that it doesn't matter? Something can go down in quicksand and it'll come up within 5 to 7 years, it'll float back to the top. I said, do you actually think that your wife can use the Cellsonic, the most powerful energy medicine device in the world? It will totally restore the mitochondria in your cells. It'll bring up your vibration. It'll shut down stage 4 inflammation. And you're going to be on these really powerful Doc of Detox nutraceuticals that's bringing up her vibration. And then also we cracked the coconut when she went to take the New World Practitioner course, the Whole Life Coach. Guess what? It's going to keep coming at her. So the reality is this, she doesn't need more nutraceuticals. She doesn't need more cleansing. She needs to calm down, connect to her breath, and ask why she's put herself in jail. Now, I'm not going to tell you some of the personal things, but this person has had some surgeries that are not so good. Surgeries that would really undermine her feminine power, okay? But the reality is this, is that it doesn't matter how much you've given up on a physical, how many organs they've taken, how many surgeries you've had. You are a spirit being, and a spirit being is never desperate. I will never be desperate again in my life. I will never have fear again in my life. And I've practiced it, but you got to understand, I'm really working at this. I already told you that if I wasn't a health practitioner, I'd probably be dead, because everything I do is like AAA, because I want my life to be full. My life right now is an adventure. It's exciting. I don't want anything to change unless it wants to change. Did you get that? I don't want anything to change unless it's going to change. You have to understand something. The people that are in control of the finances will always be in control of the finances, but they're not in control of my finances. The people that are in control of health will always be in control of health for the herd, but they're never going to be in control of my health. The people that are in control of manipulating everybody's minds and making them feel like, you know, they're non-deserving and God is judging them and probably they're going to go to hell, or maybe they're not going to go to hell, or who would love you, you know, you're not that smart. You know, they've got us to believe all this stuff, and it's not true. There's a genius in everyone. You can heal yourself from any disease that you want, because disease means you're just out of balance. You know, the reality is this. I'm going to tell you right now, you know, thank God for all the practitioners, whether medical or natural, but most of them have their head up their ass. Sorry, but they do. And the reality is that if you went to any school, whether it was naturopathic college or whether it was massage school, that was actually, like, you do know to become a massage therapist, you got to go 2 years. And when you get out of there, you go, what the hell did I even learn? And the massage therapy that you learn from massage school is only, look at, if you need someone to touch you, go right ahead, but therapeutic, it's not. Physiotherapy is not therapeutic. How many times do you want to go to the chiropractor, have them push your joints back into place, just have them pop out because it's a scar tissue, displaced calcium issue? So I'm not trying to come down on any of these therapies. Go for what you want. They all have their purpose. But if you want to be young again, you know, you're going to have to take a look at things. You're going to have to go in and crack open that coconut, and you're going to have to challenge the beliefs you have in your subconscious, because they're not yours. You got them from 0 to 7. You got them from mommy and daddy that were adulterated already, and then they took you to all these adulterated systems. I mean, there's so many religions that are just like whack jobs, okay? And I'm saying them all. I didn't say them all, okay? All right? My father was a born-again Christian pastor, so trust me, you know, I went through the gauntlet, okay? So, but understand something, right? You know what? You can decide. If you could just get one thing into your head, you would never be desperate again. That which created the whole universe has never done anything except loved you beyond love. Because that which created the universe didn't love you, because love is a really contaminated, terrible thing down here. We give it to someone, we take it back. We tell them, if you do this for me, I'll give you this. If they don't do it for me, we hold it as ransom. And then guess what? Like the whole healthcare in Canada, it just sucks. Everyone, our healthcare system's broken. No, it's not. The healthcare system in Canada is to break you. It's meant to break you. It's meant to poison you, and then it's meant to sell you off one piece at a time. And because, you know what, you don't even know you're running a hate program for yourself. You have no trouble letting them chop pieces out of you. nobody will ever be doing surgery on me. Did you hear what I just said? For one thing, you're going to go, yeah, but what about if you fell down the stairs? Well, no, you actually don't fall down the stairs. You throw yourself down the stairs on a subconscious level. People don't get that. Next thing is this, I won't be in a car accident. Well, one thing, I shouldn't be driving, okay? But the reality, Lori's a good driver, and the reality is we will never put ourselves into a car accident situation, because even if we weren't at wrong, as far as the law says, okay, you put yourself in that situation. Always take a look at the car accidents you have, or any accident you have. Think about what you were thinking about before the accident. It's amazing. You are a spirit being. You are a mini God, okay? Do you understand? We're created in God's likeness, meaning our spirit. That means that we create things. So if you want to create things from a subconscious level, you're going to get some of the things you want and some of the things you don't want. But as long as you want to stay desperate about, being loved, as long as you want to stay desperate about making money, as long as you want to stay desperate about anything, you're always going to stay desperate with it. Did you ever notice something? Whatever you think about the most, talk about the most, is all you do, and it's all you are. Okay? And so understand, if I don't like something, do I focus on it? No. But guess what? 99 out of 100 people will talk about it all day long, because you've been programmed to go, and you don't even know it, but you've been programmed to go and find out what you don't like, and then just grumble. And I'm not saying everybody on here, take a look at your family, tell me I'm wrong. That's all I'm saying, because you can't look at yourself, because most of you don't realize, but you're only in the present moment 2%, so you don't even know what your personality's like, but everybody else does. They know what they think of your personality, but you don't know what you think about your personality, because you're not in the present moment long enough to actually observe your personality. And guess what? You don't want to observe your personality, because you were told that, nobody's going to love you, you're not good enough. Oh, and guess what? You're probably going to go to hell for all the things you've done. And understand, hell is only in the mind. If you actually think that you pass from this planet and go someplace and you're put into hell, what kind of God would that be when we've been sent here, especially if you live in Canada right now and they're trying to put a chokehold on you? Just think about it. I just want to say this right now. Every human being out there, I want to congratulate you. You are a braveheart. I mean, to even be alive still, my God, they poison the water, they poison the food, they poison the air, they poison all the information they give you, right from kindergarten all the way through until you can break yourself from the system. And then you got to hang around with everybody else that went through the same system as you, and bloody well, everybody's toxic. Okay, so the reality is that. So I'm going to tell you something right now. The people that I really want to hang around are 1 out of 10,000. And I don't want to hang around with, like, when I had a staff meeting this morning, we have 3 a week with my staff. And guess what? I tell them, don't praise me. Don't tell me. And see, I can handle it because of where I am. I say, don't tell me about what I'm doing right. Tell me what I could do better. But you can't do that today. You can't go around and tell people what they can do better, because everybody gets offended, because everybody's a bloody victim. I guarantee you that I pissed a whole bunch of people off on these platforms right now, okay? And some I made happy, but some I pissed off, right? Because guess what? What you don't get is the biggest thing that you could ever learn. Don't let anybody's beliefs piss you off anymore. Try to just connect to your breath and observe them and go, hey, can I wrap my head around this? You know what? The only way you should be growing is consciously, and the only way to go consciously is to expand your mind into a different belief. If you want a different life, then you have to have a different belief. It doesn't have to be my belief, but the reality is this: if you're not going to amp up the self-love and self-care, guess what? Then you'll have a chokehold on you for the rest of your life. So you buckle up, baby, because you're going to be suffering all your life, okay? And you're going to feel like a victim. You're going to feel like the world is beating you up. I don't care what the world does today, okay? Okay? The world can do whatever it wants. I'm going to have the best day of my life, because I know that I am the creator of everything that I have. And you know what? People will say, you know what? If God wants it, okay, if this wants it, if God wills it. No, it's called teamwork. Get off your butt, and then guess what? The best gift you've ever been given is imagination, not desperation, not perspiration, not mutation, not inflammation, which is the only disease which is caused from an invisible, which creates the physical. That's right. So when you're done burning your brain out, okay, on an emotional and physical level, you're going to, depending on the emotion that you have suppressed because you couldn't address it, it's going to go to a certain part of your body until you're able to take a look at it and grow and let go and grow some wings. Stop gobbling with all these turkeys, and guess what? Find your eagle. And by the way, there is no ego. Kill the ego. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Who made that up? We're always trying to kill something. Kill the cancer. Kill your ego. You know what? Some of you will say, well, you've got an ego. No, I don't. I'm very confident. I totally unconditionally love this guy, and I totally unconditionally love everyone in the world, and they can do whatever they're going to do. I'm not going to hate anything that anybody does. I'm not going to try to change anybody. I'm just going to sit here and take and change my kitty litter into a sandbox today, and that's all I'm going to do. I'll be lecturing on Wednesday night at 6:30, just up 2 blocks from here at the Royal Anne, and if you want to come, it would be best if you called 855-900-4544 extension 0. If you do extension 5, you can talk to me if you want. I'll get back to you. I really will. You just have to leave a message and I'll get back to you, because you matter, your questions matter, and love matters, but only self-love matters. Did you ever notice something? How many lovers have you had? Huh? How many lovers? Oh, I've only had one. Well, that must be fun. No, I've had a lot of lovers, okay? And I'm glad I had a lot of lovers, because I experienced a lot of different love, and then realizing that the best love ever is the love that comes from me. If you've only had one lover your whole life, then guess what? Good luck. So the reality is you know what? I played around a lot when I was younger, and guess what? I'm going to play around a lot more, but that'll be with myself. I'm not going to play around and break people's hearts or mess their minds up anymore, but I didn't know I was doing it, so guess what? I'm not going to go to hell for it. I did wake up, but understand, most of the things that they tell you you're going to go to hell for and you're going to be punished for, that's just a bunch of BS, okay? And I mean not belief systems. I mean that's BS. It's piled up this high and it stinks to heaven, to the high heavens. Understand something right now. Totally love and care for yourself. Get rid of sinner syndrome. Get rid of failure, because if you don't, you're going to be desperate all your life. You know what? The only reason why you're desperate is they may believe that you are less than what you are. You are so much more. You will never reach your potential. When somebody says, you'll never reach your potential. Well, they're right. You'll only not reach your potential because you're that amazing. And that's everybody out there. You're that amazing. You're that amazing. That's all. Okay? And the reality is ignore everyone. If they're not looking at your dreams and loving them, if they're not on your cheerleader team, okay? If they're not cheerleading for you, kick them out. Kick them out. Don't call them. Don't visit them. Don't talk to them. Go find someone. You know what? I found people in my life that I've never been ever related to. Well, we're related to everyone, but not that I know that I've been related to. And I've only met them for 5 minutes, and they've done more for me than some of my family members have done in 50 years. Go figure, right? Well, the reality is that those people that are doing more for me, that come into my life, they challenge me to be more. So I don't want anybody coming into my life unless they're more than me. I'm talking about, you can come in. I don't say that you're less than me. I'm talking about people that love themselves freer than I love me. People that can smile and breathe when there's chaos going on, and they just go, we got this. Let's just keep living our dream. I'm not buying into anything that Trudeau says or Biden says or any medical system says or any tax system says. I'm going to buy into my own programs. Okay? Understand that. I'm not out to challenge anyone. I'm out to actually be the free spirit that God created. And that's what I am. I'm a spirit being having a physical adventure. And the reality is, I'm also going to respect this temple of mine. I'm not going to let it rot out like 99 out of 100 people do. And don't tell me they don't. Does your bowel movement smell? Do your armpits smell? Does your breast smell? Okay. Do you have pus coming out somewhere? Do you have cysts on your ovaries? Do you have endometriosis? Do you have bladder infections? Do you have headaches? Okay. Do you have a metallic taste or a burning taste in your mouth? Okay. Are you going to try to get the snot up all the time? No, I don't. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Okay. I love this guy. I love all 70 trillion cells. I love all 700 trillion bacteria, and my spirit has to flow through all of that because your spirit is continually coming in. It's not like your spirit comes down here and then it doesn't come in here anymore. I can prove to you that that's true science, because what happens is we actually block our spirit energy from coming into our bodies. And understand this, not you, but the majority of the population doesn't know the truth. Doesn't know that what we call God is just a high vibrational energy that if I even had a glimpse of it, I would turn into a puddle because I wouldn't even know what that is, because I've only experienced love, which is contaminated. Who wants love? I don't want love. I'll do some self-love and self-care, but I know if somebody else loves me, they're just going to pull it back if their beliefs don't match mine. So I'm not really into that ransom thing anymore, okay? So I'm going to tell you something right now. Mind your own business. And if you've got desperation, then guess what? Then you need to take massive personal action. What would you do if you truly loved yourself today and you didn't care what your family thought? You didn't care what the world thought. You just only made a decision just for you. Let me tell you something. If you had a family member right now that said, you know what? If you come and visit me, okay, 8 hours a day for the next 6 months, every day, the doctor says I'll live. And if you don't, I won't. And you've got to travel an hour every morning and an hour to get back. You would find a way to do it. Okay? All right. So what are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to do for yourself? Because that's how they won. Okay? The only pandemic is desperation, and you're only desperate because you bought into a belief system that doesn't even exist. It's not true. That which created the universe has never ever had a bad thing to say about you or think about you. Okay? All right? I talk to that universal energy every day, and it says, you guys are crazy. Okay? You actually believe that stuff? You believe that I created the whole universe, and that you actually think that I'm up there looking at you and judging what you do? I'm proud of you to go down to that planet Earth where everybody's trying to kill you, and you're still a really decent human being. But just feed your spirit and get on in it, because that's where it is. It's an understanding, not an understanding. Never stand underneath anyone. And when somebody says to you, do you understand? Say, no, I don't. I understand. Okay, bugger off. Okay, all right? That's right. You have the best day of your life, and you make sure you stand up for yourself. Tonight, there'll be a lecture happening 7 o'clock Florida time, and it's going to be the girls and my son, Dr. Sage Wolfe. They're going to be doing what is called the pelvic restoration, lecture. If you'd like to attend it in Stuart, Florida, then call the 800 number and 0 and find out if you can get a seat. And if you don't want to do that, then they're going to try to be on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and even YouTube, okay? All right? And just know this. Be whatever you want, and I swear I'll love you anyway. I had a big test at the airport when the guy said, you know what? Of all the places we could be in this airport, and we get to be with this prick, that would be me, okay? And I was a prick because all I wanted to do was have a seat. And the thing is just smile anyway, okay? All right? You didn't cause the problem. It's not your job to solve it, whether it's your family member or a friend or the world. Mind your own business. My God, if you could mind your own business and just go, if I totally unconditionally loved and cared for myself, what would my life look like? Wow. Go get him, Tiger. See you later, guys.